And I knew you were going to ask me this question, and I have to say it really was a process of getting. My husband calls it getting ready to get ready. And I want to say the last 2 years have really gotten me. 2 years ago, a couple things happened. Um, I woke up in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, thought I was having a heart attack, shortness of breath, and I knew as soon as I woke up my husband that we were going to the hospital if I woke him up. So I had to decide. Now, my father died of heart disease, had his first heart attack at 38. I was 60 pounds overweight, the aches and pains, can't sleep at night, blah, blah, blah. All those things making me aware of my body, need to make some changes, getting older, the whole thing was happening. So I decided I thought I was having a heart attack. Heart disease is the number one killer of women. Off to the hospital we went. They kept me in the cardiac unit for 2, 3 days. Wasn't my heart. Passed a stress test again with flying colors. They said it was muscle spasms. Sent me home. A couple weeks later, woke up in the middle of the night, same chest pain. Of course, I know I'm not having a heart attack now because I'd already been through this. So I didn't go to the hospital, and then I started getting shortness of breath. 4 or 5 days later, ended up back in the ER with pneumonia. We'll come to find out they sent me home with pneumonia, but I ended back in the ER about 8 hours later, checked me in for pneumonia, only to find out I had a gallbladder and had emergency surgery because it was already starting to rupture, had gangrene in it. So you don't have your gallbladder out unless you get a lot of stones, which typically come from a lot of fat. So that was a wake-up call for me. And shortly before that, my husband and I were in OSP with some friends, and he just collapsed out flat cold. And I thought he was dead, and he's overweight, and we had been living the life of excess for a few years with alcohol and food and sitting and pizza, and it was catching up to us, and we were getting ready to be done with it, but we weren't there yet. So that happened. But what I did was I shifted my focus off of myself to my husband, because he also needed a hip replacement. So then we went through that. And I started taking care of his meals, and his triglycerides were off the charts, and his sugar was off the charts, and he went on one med, he went on a second med for sugar, a third med for sugar, and his cholesterol, and so that was my focus. And then became an empty nester about a year and a half ago. That was kind of an aha, oh, can't take care of her anymore. Oh, I'm going to focus even more on my husband. So then I was like, you need to quit drinking, you need to quit your sugar. Well, I'm just, doing the same thing. So those are some things that kind of got me to, you need to make some changes here. And then I just started drinking more. And I did not have a problem, but on the weekend, like I never used to be a drinker, but I was like doing 4, 5, 6, 7 shots, 2, 3 nights in a row on the weekends. And I never drank. And that kind of draws a whole other crowd into your life. And I became friendly with some people, and for about a good year, year and a half, and then I saw some ugly, and I thought, oh my gosh, what am I attracting here? Mm-hmm. It's not just food, it's not just alcohol, but now the quality of people, I'm putting something out. And I just thought, and I harbored a lot of feelings, trying to figure out how to process it. Do I eliminate these people from my life? Do I need to get over it? So this whole thing was happening for me, emotionally, physically. And my husband and I were on the same page the whole time. He was frustrated with himself, but I am very grateful that the entire time we stayed in a good marriage, because we felt like our lives were shifting, but we were coming to a crossroads, and we were going to have to make some decisions on what did we want in our everyday life. And we both wanted to be healthy, and we knew that we needed to do whatever it took to do that. So fast forward, till about 6, 8 months ago, ran into a friend of mine. She looked at me, she's like, what's going on with you? Your whole energy thing is like, and I was like, oh my gosh, now it's obvious to other people that I'm really a mess. Physically, I can't sleep at night, I'm stressed out, I am eating, I just want to, you get home, you're tired, I just want to sleep. Just want to eat, go to sleep. I'm tired. And so I did that for a while. And then I realized end of the summer, this past summer, that the best thing I could do was to take care of me. But being the classic American female, unless we burn the flame on both ends and have those lists constantly going, we're not doing enough. Mm-hmm. We need to do more. Mm-hmm. And there's always more to do. So I kind of ran out of excuses too. But I knew they were coming because I was an empty nester. My husband looked at me and said, do whatever you got to do. Take care of yourself. I'm good. And that was the best thing I could have done because and what do you do? And you said, oh, I help people with stress and sleep and food and exercise. And I thought, and then I remember looking you up and down thinking, okay, there's no lipstick, there's no big earrings, there's no big hair, there's no little jogger out the boobs hanging out, there's no tan, there's no muscles. You weren't trying to impress at all. And I thought, that peacefulness, that calmness. Now, whether you were really there or not, you certainly portrayed it. So that's part of your job, and it worked. And I just looked at you, and I thought, that's what I need. I need to get there. Mm-hmm. And so then we had that conversation, and one of the things that really struck me that night, which I don't think I've ever shared with you before, was I said, so if I was interested in what you do, what would the next step be? And you said, well, we would meet and have a consultation, and you would decide if you wanted to work with me, and I would decide if I wanted to work with you. And I thought, well, why wouldn't you want to work with me? I mean, aren't you supposed to be drumming a business or something? But I like that about you because I thought, clearly what I'm doing isn't working. And I had an aha moment that night of, maybe I need to hire somebody to help me. And I've always considered myself pretty together. Can manage a lot of things and keep it together. Yeah. When in reality I wasn't. And so that's how I got to the point of seeing you. And then I thought, you know what? In my head, before I met you, I wanted to lose 100 pounds over a year. I'd had that in my head. And then I wanted to do a transformation. I wanted to get rid of some garbage in my life. And I always, every birthday candle that I blew out as an adult was the same wish. And every wishbone from a chicken or a turkey that I snapped was the same wish as an adult. And it was to lose 30 pounds this year. And 20 years fast forward, I'm up 90 pounds. And I'm thinking, okay, 30 pounds is a reasonable thing for this year. And I was 90 pounds. I just realized it's going to take me a year to take off 100 pounds. And all the other things that had since accumulated, ankle pain and the GERD and the headaches and not sleeping at night, I knew those, if I took off some weight, those would come. So what I realize now is that getting healthy and the weight goes. Mm-hmm. So thus, I don't know how to do this, and I'm still learning. It's a process. I feel much better. I'm just coming off a sinus thing, so I feel great to feel great because I was down for about 4 or 5 days, but I understand how I got there. I had some clear signs. You need to slow down, slow down, slow down. So I'm no longer taking Prilosec for my acid reflux. My arthritis in my left knee and in my left ankle has only acted up once since October, and it's now, March?
Yeah, March.
And that was because I did about 3 desserts before I went to bed. And I've learned that sugar causes inflammation, and I had this throbbing pain. And I woke up the next morning like, man, my knee was hurting. And my husband, who was with me and partook the same way, who has arthritis in his hip, said, oh my gosh, my hip was throbbing last night. So we figured out, because we had taken sugar and salt out, that it was literally overnight that we were both experiencing. We were like, okay, we're kind of like addicts here. And so that was a big awareness. So the aches and pains from the arthritis, definitely a big difference. The Prilosec is gone. My sleep habits have definitely improved. but that's still a challenge for me because I have some deep ingrained habits that I'm working on. But there's definitely an improvement when I take the time to focus on changing that habit. But when I get lost in my day to day old habits, then that resurfaces itself again and I don't sleep well. So I'm still working on that. I've lost, I forget how many inches, 13 or 14. I can't remember. It was 6 and then it was 9 and then it was 13, 14. And now it's not that it doesn't matter, but I don't hang on that number, which is another thing I've learned is there is some merit to not paying attention to the scale so much as far as the other health benefits. I haven't been sick nearly as much with sniffles and all that stuff. I just feel better, I have more energy. I don't want to fall asleep each time that I sit down now. 2 o'clock, 7:30 at night. If I sit down, boom, out like a light. I've never been able to stay awake during movies. I stayed awake during 2 movies in the last few months. Everybody that knows me is very proud of me because I never know how to answer the question, have you seen the movie so-and-so? Well, so that's a big thing. So yeah, it's just overall feeling, but I'm just feeling empowered that I'm finally doing this.
And you're about a third away, and your goal was to lose 100.
Yes.
And you're about a third of the way there because you've lost.
Yes, 35. So, the past 6-8 weeks, actually really coming out of Christmas, I gave myself permission because I felt like I had learned a little bit of a skill set in the first 3 months of focusing on my health and my choices and making room to deviate and to celebrate the holidays and get back on it and learning that whole process, which it is a process to learn. But I kind of stayed there a little bit. So I stopped losing and got a little frustrated, but knew exactly why, because I was eating out more, a little more salt, a little more sugar, a little more wine, whatever it might be today. And so I was plateauing with my weight, although the other benefits often stayed with me unless I really did a lot of sugar in one night, then boom, there it was. But it was an obvious physical symptom that was isolated to that particular action, and I could label it. And it was just like so, it's liberating to understand, to recognize things that, okay, this is because of this, and this is because of this, and to really learn to listen to your body. So, yeah, I still have, but I was frustrated at first. I was kind of plateauing. The weight wasn't coming down, but you kept reminding me that I have come a long way. And when I would jump up 3 or 4 pounds, I'm thinking, okay, I'm still down 31. I'm still drinking water. I'm still sleeping better. I'm still not taking Prilosec. There's still a lot of lists, but so I've kind of stayed there for a bit, and I'm okay with it because I know that this is temporary for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of just taking it all in because this is a new place for me of being down this much weight and just staying there, not shooting right back up. And it's new. I'm learning how to be comfortable here, but I'm not done.
But not giving up because you're still on the road.
Right. But last week, you were witness. Last week was a hard week for me because physically, I was feeling run down. I was tired. I was feeling frustrated. I wasn't drinking as much water that I wanted to, and I wasn't. This new list that I have on my health, I wasn't doing it beyond where I want to be doing it in order to get that number to drop and to feel even better.
Mm-hmm.
But this week I'm bouncing off the walls, happy into it. So
good. That's
it's
awesome.
a process. Right. I think it's what's pretty common between me and other people with the same challenges, especially women, but men too, is that I fall back into taking care of other people. Because that's our go-to. That is the habit. That's the instinct. That's what our culture teaches us to do. That's what we've been doing for 40, 45 years. And so the natural course of thinking is to take care of somebody else. And there is resistance sometimes. And there is almost, not almost, but a sense of selfishness sometimes, because it's not, when I'm tired and I'm going to get sick, if I keep going at this pace, and let's say my sister needs me to drive somewhere, or my mother needs to talk to me, or someone wants me to work an extra shift, or reschedule this, or a doctor's appointment is an extra hour, or whatever it is, it becomes stressful. And the emotional stress of taking care of yourself can put you on your back sick. And then, your eating thing is out the window. You just want to feel better. And then you got to play catch up, and you get, so. But it's been a great experience. But I have learned more than I was expecting to. I was expecting a list, and it's not the way it goes.
Hey, I like that. You got more than you expected.
Yes.
Good.
Well, you had told me when we started this that your program was guaranteed, but I needed to do what you told me to do. But I didn't have to do anything you didn't want to do, and I would decide how this went. And I'm thinking, great. You think it. You have the information. You hand it to me on a list. Boom, boom, boom. Check it off. All set. But it's much more. It's not just. It's like, oh. But you're not crazy. You just got to change your thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach.
I like that I can eat bacon.
That's the best part.
As long as it's uncured. And people are amazed that you can eat bacon and sausage and still lose 35 pounds, and I don't even know how many months it is. No, that's really not my favorite thing, but I did ride that way for a while. But some of the things I like best about it, I'm sorry, was that the question?
Yeah, what do you like best
what
about
I
your
like the best about it is that I can do this. Is that I've lost 20, 25 pounds before, but maybe it's just part of it's getting older and a little more grounded. And, I'm an empty nester, and financially I've got some options to do what I want to do. And I finally have either gotten to a position or given myself permission, or a combination of both, to own my weight and to own my own health. And it is a place that you have to be ready to go to. And it's work. It's constant focus. Whoever thought keeping carrots and celery in your refrigerator would be stressful? But it can be. But you just have to realize that, okay, I need to change my thinking so that this bumps up on the top for me. And if I can't fill up the gas tank tonight, and I need to do it in the morning on the way to work instead, because I do go to the grocery store, or whatever, you just have to change your thinking. But it is, the first few months but you got to go there, and you have to learn what your likes are. And I like learning what I really like that's healthy, and kind of staying there. I'm not going to do a program on my own. I've realized is that I'm not going to go to the gym. I'm not going to go to Weight Watchers and weigh in. I'm not going to go to Jazzercise. I'm not even going to go downstairs in my basement where all the equipment is. I'm not even going to go outside and go for a walk. So I had to come to the realization that I do a lot of things well, but I can't seem to get my arms around staying focused on what goes in my mouth and going to sleep and not being stressed out. And I need essentially a babysitter. I need someone to hold me accountable, show up every week and say, how you doing? And not tell me how I'm doing, just to say, how you doing?
The accountability.
Yeah, that's what I needed. But it was a big swallow your pride thing for me to admit that I needed somebody for anything.
Pretty powerful.
It is. But it was a good thing.
I think that's something a lot of people can relate to. They think they can do it.
Yeah, but we can't. Because and then once you realize you need help, despite how together you are, then to listen. And when you're told, oh yeah, you can eat bacon.
Well, you were fat. You were
But-
surprised about the amount of fat that I actually encouraged.
Oh
you.
yeah. Like not scraping off the fat from the grass-fed pot roast and throwing it away. That's just something I've always done. I'm not supposed to eat that. And when you told me I didn't have enough fat in my diet, I thought, but I just kept hearing you say, you need to empty your cup so that you can learn. And I knew, my head told me that I needed to hire a coach, you specifically, because I thought I knew how to do it. And I thought I could do it, but clearly not. So you need to step back and say, okay, I need somebody who knows more than I do about this, and I need to listen and do what they say, give it a shot, and then go from there. Most people that I know, which I think represents most normal people, we've done it all. We've tried it all. And it's not somebody else telling you what to do. It's you choosing to do it. But with a coach, you have somebody there to bounce each of those feelings, frustrations, good, bad, or otherwise. You have somebody who knows more than you about yourself. And the more time you spend with them, the more they learn about you. And it's a one-on-one thing that, as far as the whole financial piece, I mean, we're going to spend it on something. Mm-hmm. Okay. And anybody who's even considering a coach clearly has some type of concern about their health or somebody loves health. So, whether if your fight has been, I don't want to go, or I can't afford organic, or I can't afford to hire a personal trainer, or I can't afford, whatever it is, okay? Cut out paying for chips, beer, McDonald's. What else do I buy that I don't buy much of anymore? Crackers. How much do you spend eating out? When you add that, or just your medical expenses. I mean, but I'm an avid believer that every single one of us has money and time for what we want. Show me your checkbook and I'll show you what's important to you. It's not about how much you make, because we all used to make a lot less money. Mm-hmm. And the more you make, the more you spend. Mm-hmm. So you might as well spend it on yourself, because it's the best investment I have made in a long time. And my husband, he's on the same page. He said, because I was like, we have the money. It's not like we don't have the money to do this. Because everybody works their butt off until they're 40, 45, 50 years old before we figure out, I got to do something different. We have the money. I mean, you can come up with the money. It's not a money issue. So it's just another excuse for you. Right. And my husband looked at me and he said, whatever you need to do to take care of yourself, whether it's not go to work, go on a diet, hire somebody, go outside, buy a new outfit, buy a plane ticket, whatever you need to do to take care of you is what I want you to do.
And you chose me over going to the Bahamas.
I did. So you owe me a trip to the Bahamas. No, but really, it's a matter of what do I want more than anything else right now. Yeah. And I'm tired of being fat. I'm tired of being tired. Just the whole thing we've already talked about. So the best thing about hiring a coach, bottom line, is you're going to spend the money on something. Why not spend it on something that you physically are going to benefit from? You can see it makes your head feel better. It makes your body feel better. It's just, I can't believe I'm doing it. You know what I mean? And I just,
why do you say that?
I can't believe I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Because I've done it so many times, but not like this. This is empowering. Besides losing the weight and the other physical benefits, it's empowering for me to continue to take ownership of how I got here. I'm not talking since October, the success. I did not gain 90 pounds in a year.
Right.
I have done this over repeated poor choices on my part. And you just need to own it. so you can move on and dump all those garbage thoughts that have been in my head for 20, 25 years while I've been doing it. And I want to think differently. I want to unload the whole health piece. I don't want that as a stress for me. And it's a stressor right now because I'm concerned about my health. I'm concerned about my family. I'm concerned about what I've taught my daughter, how to eat, how not to eat, how to put others first, how not to exercise, how to, whatever it is. And so it's just really valuable for my family, but most importantly for me. And the big lesson for me is just I just have to keep going back to, I have to stay focused on me, or I will not continue to be successful at this.
Wise final words.
Yeah, so.
Very good.
Bye.
Bye.